Bueno, entonces, chicos, este capítulo, capítulo 12, y en el futuro, en la clase de español 202, vamos a repetir este concepto. Entonces, les presento los mandatos hoy y se va a repetir para el resto de noviembre, parte de diciembre, enero y febrero. Vamos a aplicar este concepto por 3 meses, mucho tiempo, ¿no? Entonces, hoy la palabra mandato es una palabra nueva, pero ustedes van a reconocer esta palabra dentro de 2 semanas, una semana. Mandato, ¿no? Mandato is command. So think about you're mandating somebody to do something, telling somebody to do something. In Espanol, when we talk to people, we have 2 forms of talking to people. We have 2 yous in Espanol. What are our 2 yous in Espanol? If I can say ¿cómo estás? Or I can say ¿cómo está? Usted versus tú. So that's why these are called formal commands. Because depending on where we are, like Colombia and Costa Rica, you would learn the usted form. They only use usted. They don't use tú in Colombia or Costa Rica. But if you're in Spain, they really only use tú. So they would use a different type of command. They would tell you how to do something differently. And then everywhere, except for Spain, uses ustedes, which doesn't have anything to do with formality. Ustedes simply means what in Latin America? In Spain, it's vosotros. But in Latin America, it's y'all. Exactly, for us in the South. So that's who we're talking about, or excuse me, talking to. And so let's say I'm giving y'all, ustedes, advice about being civilized college students, applying the best that I can, using the chapter vocab, because we just talked about our cleaning habits. So we're going to focus on the meaning and then figure out what's going on with the verb. I want to make it meaningful, which is why I don't ever use the book, because the book's not meaningful. Estudiantes, okay? Ustedes, plural, segunda persona, y'all. Limpian sus casas frecuentemente. So we just talked about, these are mandatos. Mandatos is when you tell somebody to do something. Is it different on your paper?
It's Sue instead of Sue.
Okay, that's okay. Your house, you can change it to sus casas, plural.
Would the word change?
No. The underlying word is still going to be limpian. So what am I telling you all to do? What am I telling you to do? Clean your houses frequently. Exactly like Pablo and Javier, limpian sus casas frecuentemente. Because a veces no es bueno. Now, limpian sus casas. Clean your houses frequently. So that's the meaning, and the context is very direct. This is a command, okay? A command is when you tell somebody to do something. It can be like, take notes for me in the next class because I'm not going to go. Or eat your vegetables. Or, don't tell her I said that. Things like that. Those are commands. They're very, very direct. This is very direct. In Spanish, when we're that direct, what happens to our verb? Now let's talk about the grammar. Limpian. So now you figured out the meaning. How do we know that this is a command? Because our infinitive is what? Limpiar. So in Spanish, when we tell somebody to do something, in this case, y'all, what happened grammatically? What do we do? What changed about our verb? Rather than saying like Anastasia, Marina, todas las chicas en general, y Octavio y Will, todos menos Javier and Pablo, limpian sus casas frecuentemente. So I'm saying y'all minus Javier and Pablo clean their houses frequently, okay? But this verb is spelled a little different. Because why? What changed? It's not limpian, it's what? Limpien. So what happened to our ending? Our AR ending changed to what? ER, IR. That's all we're doing. for the next 3 months of Spanish, we're flipping endings. And you'll see over and over and over again, and there's rules to it and things like that. So when I say todos en la clase menos Javier y Pablo limpian sus casas frecuentemente, I'm just making a statement about your cleaning habits. But this is saying what? Clean your houses. It's direct. It's a command, okay? ¿Entienden la idea? Más o menos? Okay, veamos más ejemplos. Chicos, no ensucian su ropa cuando comen. So let's first focus on the meaning. What am I telling you not to do? Don't what? Get your clothes dirty. Because we know limpio is the adjective for limpiar. Sucio is the adjective for the verb ensuciar. So to get something dirty is the verb ensuciar. And now I'm telling you not to get it dirty. So even when I tell you not to do something, whether I tell you to do something and not to do something, I flip the endings. AR verbs go to EN. Okay? But notice this verb, what's the infinitive of comen? Comer. Is this a command? Am I telling you to eat? No, I'm saying when you eat. So it's not like every single verb turns into a command all of a sudden. It just depends on what you're trying to say. When you eat, no ensucian su ropa. Cuando estudian para el examen, hagan el repaso. No? So I use the verb estudiar in the regular indicative form, but I only change the command to do the review. Because that's all I'm telling you to do. Pregunta?
Sí. So under 2 where it says estudiantes no when cuando comen.
I'll come back to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Give me a second. It's organized differently on the paper, but I'll come back to that in a segundo. Gracias. Okay, estudiantes barren el suelo después de dar una fiesta. Barran. Y en el libro es un verbo nuevo. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo de barran? ¿Dónde está en el libro? No sé. ¿Está en el libro? No lo veo. Oh, aquí está. Otra página. Aquí está. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo? Barrer. Sí, sweep. Exactamente. El infinitivo es barrer el suelo. So, sí, it means to sweep the floor. Suelo, piso. Después de dar una fiesta, sweep the floor when? After having a party. Exactly. El infinitivo es barrer, but I'm telling you to do it. So, AR verbs like limpiar change to limpien. ER-IR verbs change to AN. So we just flip-flop the endings. That's all we do for the next 3 months of Spanish. This is good news. It's not really that hard. There's rules, but you will be so relieved to not be dealing with the preterite and imperfect anymore. Estudiantes, sacudan los muebles cada semana. ¿Y cuál es el infinitivo de sacudan? Sacudir. To dust. But when I say sacuden los muebles, what am I telling you? Dust your furniture every week. Cada semana. Ok, muy importante este ejemplo. No se acuestan, en particular Pablo, porque Pablo siempre estás muy cansado, ¿no? En tus clases. Entonces, y es normal. Muchos de mis estudiantes tienen sueño en clase porque se acuestan tarde durante la semana. Pero mi recomendación, mi mandato para ustedes es no se acuesten tarde. So what am I telling you not to do? Don't what? Don't go to bed late. Exactly. Don't go to bed late. Durante la semana. Los fines de semana ni importa. Okay, so this is a command telling you not to go to bed late. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo de acuesten? Acostarse. So the other verbs were regular A and B, non-reflexive. So a couple things to know. Why are we using se here and not te or me or nos? Who am I talking to? Y'all, ellos. So that's why my pronoun is se. And notice my infinitive is acostar. So when we conjugate these commands, we have to remember what? What happened in our conjugation? Our stem change, right? Our stem change. O to UE. So what if I wanted to tell you to go to sleep? Or just to sleep? Duerman. So we change our verb with the stem change, O to UE, and flip the ending. Duerman. Okay? Sleep. Duerman. Not that you'll probably never hear me say that. I'll tell you, no duerman in class A. Don't sleep in class, but I'm never going to tell you to sleep. Okay, so just to review, this we can use the singular form, and the singular forms usted, just don't have the letter N. But if it's plural, if I'm talking to y'all, I put an N on it. That's nothing new. We've learned that since Spanish 101. Generally speaking, the rules with usted versus to is like authority, la policía, el doctor, profesores, but it's also geographical, it's cultural, Costa Rica, Colombia, and then ustedes. So, I think I've told you before, in particular, not just any students, but it's usually my SNAP students that come up with the best ways to remember things. Go to the yo, drop the yo. That's not super original. A lot of professors say that. Go to the yo, drop the yo. But one of my SNAP students, like 3 or 4 years ago, replace it with the opposite of what you know. Meaning, flip the endings. Okay? If it's an AR verb like limpiar, and I just want you, like just you, Javier, to clean your house, and I was using the usted form with you, I'd say limpie su casa. But if I'm talking to Javier and Pablo, I'd say, Javier, Pablo, limpian sus casas más frecuente. Okay? If it's an ER-IR verb, like sacudir to dust or barrer to sweep, then I switch the endings to A and AN. We just have to remember the stem changes, the verbs that are irregular in the yo form. So this is where the irregulars come into play, and verbs like dormir, duerman, or no duerman in class A, okay? Or servir, sirvan. Stem changes. That's why it's really important to go to the yo, because the yo will take into account for the stem change and, hold on. So you will hear that, and that's important to know. Like, the first thing you will hear when you go to a Spanish-speaking country, especially among families, parents with kids, parents are always giving their kids commands. My kids don't speak Spanish, but they understand commands. That's like the one thing in Spanish they understand. Little kids are always, I remember this so well when I was in college in Spain. Spain, they don't use usted, but they were like, mira, mira, mira. Look, kids are always telling you that. Miren. Miren. And people say that in Spanish all the time as a command, like when they're making a point. Look, we have a test tomorrow, you need to study, blah, blah, blah. Miren, chicos, tenemos un examen mañana, necesitan estudiar, blah, 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 blah. Same thing, command form, miren. But back to pronouns. So if a verb is reflexive, acostarse, despertarse, lavarse, levantarse, divertirse, have fun this weekend, diviértense este fin de semana. So reflexive verbs, divertirse, we're really just using these pronouns, se, because why? Who am I talking to? You or y'all, usted or ustedes. So you don't really need to worry, unless you're like, y'all call me or write me if you have a question, escríbanme. But those wouldn't be reflexive, those would be the object ones. Like, look at it, mírenla. And I have examples here in a second, and that's what goes back to the front part of your paper. limpianlas. Here's an example of using an object pronoun, not reflexive, an object pronoun with a command. What's weird about a pronoun with a command versus what we know about pronouns generally speaking? What am I telling you to do? To clean what? Clean it or clean them. And I'm using the pronoun las to replace casas. Usually when somebody, especially moms, your mom did this, I guarantee, or whoever was telling you what to do growing up, they tell the people multiple times, like clean your room. They say that over and over again. So after a couple of times, they usually say clean it, clean them. And we use pronouns a lot. So las replaces casas because it's plural and feminine. But where do we put the pronoun? Where's the pronoun? Yeah, it's attached to the end. This is completely weird, but I guarantee you've heard cállense before. Have you heard cállense? Surely you've heard cállense. Levántense. Yeah, in Spanish class, like in grade school or something. Cállense? You've never heard cállense? Really? Usually people have heard that. That means shut up in Spanish. Or be quiet. Cállense. Anyway, levántense, siéntense, those are used a lot in grade school Spanish classes. Pronouns with commands get attached to the end. When that happens, we have to put an accent mark, an emphasis on the command. You do not need to know this you won't have to do this on the test or the final, but you're probably going to have to do it on the super site. Bárrenlo. So notice where the pronoun went at the end of the command, because I'm telling you what? To sweep it. Why did I use lo? Because it is replacing the word for floor, which is what? El suelo, singular and masculine. And then the accent goes on the A. And you're going to figure out where to put the accent here in a second, because it's going to change. Sacúdenlos cada semana. So my pronoun los is referring to what? Los what? Muebles. Plural masculine, los. Accent on the U. Pay attention to these accent marks because I'm going to ask you how you know where to put them. In a second. Acuéstense temprano durante la semana. I'm telling you to what? Pronouns at the end. It's a reflexive verb. That's why I'm using say. The infinitive is acostarse. I still have my stem change. What am I telling you to do? Acuéstense. Go to bed. Okay? You would love it if I told you to do that right now. And the accent's on the E. So the pronoun, this is down here at the bottom of your paper. The pronoun goes after the command. It gets attached to the end. Oops, I don't want to show you that just yet. And looking at all the examples, the accent mark only when you attach. You only need to put an accent mark when you attach the pronoun. If you look at all the examples on your paper, what letter got the accent mark? Like in sacúdenlos or bárrenlo. Because in the first example, it was like limpianlas, and the accent was on the first I. But sacúdenlos, the accent was on the U. So it doesn't go on the first vowel. The accent's going to go when you have 3 or 2 or more syllables. Limpian, or sacudan, or acuesten. It goes on that second to last syllable. So you have to exclude the pronoun. Acueste. 3 syllables. Can you believe you're in college, counting out syllables? But you are. Do you remember doing that in first grade? I was always just clapping with everyone else. I'm like, I don't understand this. But in Spanish is very vocalic. And vowels separate syllables in Spanish, so it's much easier to count out a syllable in Spanish than it is in English. Acuesten, despierta, because it's all based on vowels. So you count from the end, the second to last syllable gets the vowel, the second to last syllable gets the accent mark. But what about when you have two vowels together, like here? Why did the E get it? Because, and I know you're tired and you're ready to go, so I'll just tell you. A and E are strong vowels. So if you have a combo, like a U and an E, or a U and an A, or an E and an I, A's and E's get the accent marks. Okay? This is only when you attach pronouns on the end of commands. No la ensucian. One last thing and I'll let you go. You're almost free. But notice, why is this pronoun in front of the command and not attached to the end?
It's still no.
Because it's negative. So listen carefully. Only when you're telling somebody to do something, eat it, clean it, have fun, diviértense, do you put the pronoun on the end. Otherwise, if it's no, the pronoun comes before the command. This will be on the super site. You do not need to know this for the test, but it will be on the super site. So reference your notes. Los irregulares, which are on the back side of your papers. Sorry. So go to the back side first. Going to the yo es muy importante. And we talked about at the beginning of class, la forma de yo de poner es irregular. Pongo. That's why you got to go to the yo, because if I want a singular, sa usted, or clase is a singular noun, ponga la mesa. In this particular example, I'm telling you to what? Set the table. Pongo la mesa. No? Or haga la cama. Telling you to what? Make the bed. So hacer and poner are irregular in the yo forms, which is why you have to go to the yo and drop the yo and change it to the opposite of what you know. Pongo, hago. What are some other verbs that are irregular in the yo form? Salgo, exactly. Salgo. So I'd say salga. Like saga clase. Get out of here. Salgo means to leave. Salga. What's another one? Tengo in the yo form. So tenga paciencia. Tenga. Otros? Salga, tenga. Diga la verdad. When I say diga la verdad, I'm telling you what?
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. En la corte, diga la verdad. Oiga la música, listen to the music, pongo la mesa. These are all irregular in yo. Salga, tenga paciencia, traiga el pastel, traiga el champán. Traigan regalos, or no traigan regalos. That's usually what I tell people. Sadly, I know for my kids, but I'm like, no traigan regalos, por favor. A las fiestas de cumpleaños, my kids have enough stuff. No traigan regalos. Vengan a la fiesta a las 8. So, traigan means what? Bring. Traigan sus libros a cada clase. Traigan papel. Traigan lápices. Vengan a clase a tiempo. So, vengan means what? To come. Exactly. And then, so, Marina, tú sacas la basura. Now, era tu ejemplo en la parte de comunicar al principio de clase. And you were like, sake, thinking preterite, because we've been doing that so much. And normally, when we go to the yo, we drop the yo, change it to the opposite of what we know, which would produce this. Which is why I use this name. ¿Cómo se llama la chica? Cecilia. Cecilia, when you put a C and an E next to each other in Spanish, it softens the C. But the infinitive here is not sasar, la basura, it's sacar. So in order to maintain that k sound, we have to change it to QUE. It's just like the yo form and the preterite. So it's not even really new. It's just I'm telling all of y'all to get out your books. I would say, chicos, saquen sus libros, por favor. Abran sus libros a la página 314. Okay? Saque la basura, or maybe you're telling her not to do it. No saque la basura. Yo lo saqué o la saqué ayer. ¿Cómo se llama este chico? Jorge. So the letter G next to the letter E makes an H sound. And what's the infinitive of this verb? Pagar. Hard G sound, so GUE, which is just like yo form preterite rules. I also want to point out, because we use this a lot, like play tennis with me tomorrow, or play, let's play golf next weekend. Jugar. What if you want to tell somebody to play like a sport with you in the future? You have to do two things to this verb to make it a command. To make jugar a command, tell somebody to play with you, to play this sport, play basketball, play tennis. First, you have to go to the yo form of jugar, which is what? Because I bet this is on the super sign. Juego. So we have a stem change, but then it's a gar verb. So when we tell usted or ustedes to play a sport, you would say, or I'd say like play tic-tac-toe. Jueguen. So note on the super site, I guarantee you'll have this verb. There's two sets of UE. Jueguen. Chicos, juegan al gato. Grupos de dos. Empezar. Again, we have our stem change. And it's a zar verb. So this is similar to the preterite. So it's kind of nice it comes after the preterite. But the context is completely different because we're not talking in the yo form about past activities. I'm telling you not to start your homework yet, for example. Or no conduzcan sus carros cuando escriben mensajes de text. What am I telling you not to do? Yeah, don't text and drive. No conduzcan. So any verb that ends in CIR changes to ZCAN. Throw that Z in for profesita. Okay? Conduzcan. Estar is considered completely irregular, but it's basically regular. It just has the accent on the E. Ir, though, is vayan. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard the expression vaya con Dios? I've only heard it amongst people from Mexico. But vayan a la biblioteca. Vayan a CSL. Antes de un examen. What does vayan mean? Go. Exactly. Vayan a sus casas. Go. And then sepan, totally irregular, is to know. Ser, how do you pronounce that, do you think? If I want to tell you to be patient, sean. Careful, because I know somebody always does that in class. They're like, Sean, and I'm like, we are not talking about Irish spellings of first names in the United States. Sean, sea paciente, por favor. Sean pacientes. Sean for ser, vean for ver. Vean means what? To watch or to see. Okay? You can always use miren for that right away.